I'm going to show you how to design a cool one slide to present your business model. Let's start looking at your audience strategy. You have a board of executives with a to the point. They're factual, they're decision-oriented, that's their style. We're going to master your story. That's number 2. That means you're going to show your business model, your new business model, and you're going to focus on 3 key areas creating core value. And now we're going to get into your compelling visuals with a corporate and simple style, 2-tone scheme, black and white, with pure lines. So something very simplistic. We'll get started with a simple background that we downloaded off of Pixabay, used like a kind of a texture search engine. Just type in texture, you're going to get this cool background. Now we're going to adjust it to the size of your slide, and you can play around with different effects or different tones you can have to your picture. We're also going to add in a couple of boxes. I'm going to start with one. We're just going to remove the filler in there, keep the outside line, keep the outline, get it a bit thicker. And what we want to have is like 3 key or core ideas. And that means I'm going to start with one core idea, kind of one box with my background. And we're going to copy and paste that, right? So we're going to work on the first box, the first type of design, and just a simple copy and paste. What I like to do is recycle things from my previous slides, like just copy and paste in text and start reusing it. Now we're going to take that, resize it, and we're just going to play around, make sure it kind of fits the space that we have allocated. Now you can squeeze it, and I think there's no general rule. Just find a way to squeeze the text in a way that kind of looks good. I'm just going to improvise the text right now, what we want it to look like. Design production. It couldn't work for anything. Now, if you kind of like these tutorials, you might want to see something else as well. Let me tell you guys about my Presentation Pro workshop with 4 easy steps broken down into high-quality, thought-provoking videos. You will have access to powerful and concise walkthroughs that are simple, reliable, and repeatable, that have been written by me personally. This method does everything for you to prepare your next presentation in a way that's going to be fun, immersive, and accessible. Videos, summaries, step-by-step checklist, supporting documentation, and working templates, all in 12 chapters that are crisp and concise. We have over 4 hours of premium content online with detailed video tutorials that help you each step of the way. You'll never struggle with presentation strategy or delivery ever again. I'm guessing right now you're pretty interested in the workshop. Click on the link to watch the free webinar. And we're back. Now, you saw that I kind of copied and pasted the text from before for a title, and I'm doing the same thing for the body of the text. We're going to stick it in there. So the general idea is that you have one main idea. So there's 3 core values in your presentation. We're going to go with 1, 2, 3, but each kind of value or each activity or each idea, in this case it's design production, while you want to be able to offer a little more detail. Because this is a corporate kind of executive audience, you want to get to the point. You don't want to write like full-on sentences necessarily. You want to write keywords. That's what they're looking for. So the type of audience, the less, the better. And then you cover the rest verbally. And if they have questions, you can be assured they will be asking questions. Typically, when you present to executive board, if something's unclear, then they will interrupt you and ask those questions. So typically my profile, we tend to offer more information than not enough, and it drowns your ideas, it drowns the fish basically. So as the less is better. So in this case, we have one main idea, design production, a couple of keywords, customer requirements, prototyping, manufacturing under there, and that's enough. It's enough for you to kind of go off and explain what you're doing, what your company or how you're functioning as a team. So here we're playing around with the design. These are minor tweaks. Essentially, you just want it to look good. And there's a trick I like to do is to add a vertical line. So the vertical line offers this nice, snappy way to draw attention. You don't want to maybe draw like a full-on box. You just want to add a line so that people kind of, I don't know why it works, but it's a great trick you see in magazines or different, if you still read, magazines, but it kind of looks good. It's easier to read, catches a reader's attention, the viewer's attention in the right place. Another trick I like to do is to take the first letter, or you play around like what is in bold, what is not in bold. So in this case, I'm turning off bold on the rest of the text and only on the first letter of the words at the beginning of each line. And it kind of offers, it's a small trick that makes it easier for you as you read it. In this situation, I'm grouping. I have a line. I got like 2 text boxes in one box. So I just selected the whole thing, Control G, and that actually groups the whole thing together. So I copy and paste my initial box. It becomes like 3 boxes. So I have 3 ideas, the 3 core values of my or your organization. And what we're going to do is, again, we're doing it right the first time and then reusing it. And then I'm just improvising like what would be your second core value and then the third one. In this case, I'm just saying packaging and delivery, something like that. Why 3 ideas? There's a reason why I've made this tutorial to reflect 3 ideas. So there's always this 1, 2, 3 rule, right? So the 1, 2, 3 rule is you have like 1 main idea per slide, or 2, which could be opposing ideas, or you're offering a bit of a way to discriminate between one idea and the other, to offer a difference between one idea and the other, or maximum 3 kind of ideas on one slide. There's a bit of a cheat as well, which is what I'm doing here. I think it's all right to cheat sometimes when you know the basic rule. So the basic rule is maximum 3 ideas, but in this case, I feel like it's not enough. So I've created a cheat, and it's a simple one. You just add in the symbol for and. So in this case, it's design and production, packaging and delivery, after sales and nurturing. So that's a way to squeeze in more ideas, but still have this illusion that you have like 3 ideas. I think it's a great trick because it doesn't drown your ideas, but it creates this package deal of, in this case, after sales and nurturing. It creates this illusion that it's one thing, right? It comes together. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying it's a small trick if you want to squeeze in more ideas in your presentation, in your speech, in your story, and yet not make it feel like it's crowded, right? So here you see me going off, like just totally improvising on the details, how I detail out each one of those ideas. Now, a little note about the background. You can add in any background. You can actually use a white background. There's nothing wrong with a white background. The only reason why I'm putting a kind of a textured background with an effect of kind of a light black and white feel to it is because that's the way I think it feels great, but you always want to validate with your audience and validate with somebody else. Now, about different symbols, it's always cool to add a small symbol. Now, Microsoft doesn't have like an infinite amount of icons, but they have enough for you to play around with it. So in this case, I'm just typing in a couple keywords and just hoping to find something which kind of reflects the idea I want to convey. And if I can't find it, there's always so many websites. Just go on Google, type in free icon, and you're going to find those things. I don't want to mess around with license rights on this tutorial, so I'm just using what is embedded, what comes with your Microsoft PowerPoint software. So I'm just going off again, just typing a couple of keywords. The search engine for those keywords isn't great, so a bit of experience will kind of coach you. You're kind of coaching yourself to know like what keywords are going to work, because it is not a Google search engine. It's just, you really have to be in the mind of the person who created the icon and who added in a couple of keywords reflecting like, what does this icon mean? So for design production, putting somebody who's developing something. So, what if we're producing some sort of hardware, software type of deal? And I'm just, again, this is totally improvising, like what could reflect. The idea of the icon is for you to be able to visually connect. And what I mean, you want the audience to be able to visually connect your concept to some sort of pictogram, some sort of icon. And I think this looks great. Is this perfect? Far from it. You can spend another hour, a couple hours to really bring it up to the next level. But I'm just showing you how in a couple of minutes you can have something functional. And if somebody tells you or asks you, like your boss comes to you, it's like, yeah, I want to present something like tomorrow. You're in mid-afternoon. Can you just put something together? Well, this is something put together, which is totally presentable to somebody or your audience tomorrow morning. Now, what am I doing here? Here, I just realized that my text is in black. The background is making it hard to read. So I'm just adding in like a light box, putting a transparent feel or, effect on it so that I can still see the background, but it offers enough, it gives visibility to my text, because you can see after sales and nurturing is hard to read. And so I went on to add in this box. Now, Microsoft works on layers. So you can see here I'm doing a right click and I'm playing around like, should I put it in the front? Should I put it in the back? So I usually put it in the back and I right click on my background and I shove it in the back again. It's a lazy way to do it. There's a smarter way to do it, which I'll show, but I'm lazy. That's a kind of a shortcut, like a bit of a shortcut I'm doing. So that's kind of the look and feel of your one pager. Now, if you want to deliver it like a pro, here's how it would sound like, right? So delivering like a pro means you're like, hi guys, I want to share how we're offering 3 core areas in our business model, how we design, produce, package, and deliver, and a bit about after sales and nurturing process. Now, these core areas are critical for a business because we manage customer requirements, prototype, manufacture, take care of packaging, delivery, and tracking, and then offer customer support, digital services, and community. Now, just realize that when I'm presenting this, I'm presenting the whole thing at the same time. So when I'm presenting it, they're not listening, they're reading the whole thing. So I'm selecting each one of those things, clicking on Control G to group them, going in animation, because I want these things to pop up, not at the same time. So I'm going to play around in the animation pane on a click. So I want these things to pop up one at a time so that when I explain it or I go through it, well, at least it's allowing me to go at my own pace. So that's how you deliver Regular Pro, using the 1, 2, 3, 4, your audience, your story, your visuals, and how to get a little narrative around that. I'm going to see you guys in the next video.